Okay, so we're going to look at the currency project here. Now, I've only really told you guys a tiny bit about this. I told you guys that we are going to use Photoshop and Photopea together to make money, or at least what will look like money. And I'm just basically gonna just kind of scrap something together really fast here and mostly just get you guys used to getting rid of backgrounds again. I'm probably gonna do several videos that we'll put together for this, but for right now, let's just concentrate on getting rid of some backgrounds and setting up our file for this. Okay, so I'm gonna set this up in Photopea, but you can set this up in Photoshop as well. I'm gonna say new project. And basically something I'm going to go ahead and do here is make this the size of my money. Now, if you measure a dollar bill, it's, I don't know the sizes off the top of my head, but we know the basic dimensions of money. It's going to be a rectangle. It's going to be wider than it is tall. So what I want to make sure that you're doing is look at your width and height. We don't want to make this on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. We do want to keep our DPI at 300 though, so keep that there. But I'm going to make this... Let's make it like 5 inches by 2 inches. And that, looking at these little previews, that actually looks about right. Different countries do have different size money, and there are some countries that actually have different sizes of money depending on the denomination, so that's kind of cool. All right, so I've got my background here, and I'm going to go ahead and just start getting some pictures for this. Now, I've always done Tibet for this project because I feel like they need to be recognized as a country, so I give them their own money. So I'm going to go onto Google, and I'm going to just search Tibet, and I'm going to go into images, and I'm going to start trying to find some things that I think could make for a good background for my money. Now, I'm seeing like a lot of stuff I already like the looks of, but a lot of these pictures are going to be small, so make sure you go into Tools, and you go into Size, and we're going to go into Large at least. And then some of these probably still won't quite be big enough for what we want, but this is at least a good place to start. Now, looking at these pictures, like I said, there's a lot of good stuff already in here. I'm just going to, let's just try this one from Wikipedia. They tend to have some bigger pictures. I'm going to right click on the picture and say view image, and that's actually not that big. Like, see how it's not letting me zoom in any? So like that gets really pixely really quick. That's not a good picture for this. So going back, honestly, I chose a country that's probably going to be harder to find good pictures for it. So, depending on the pictures that you choose, it might be a little bit easier to not do one that is censored by an entire other country. Okay, this one's a little bit better. I'll keep that in the background, but I do want to see if I can find something bigger than that. And if this takes me too long, I'll edit this part of the video and see what I can do. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Let's see. I think that's that same picture from Wikipedia, but higher resolution. Okay, that'll work. I'm going to save this picture. I'm going to save it, sure, in my downloads folder. I'll just call it 1 so I know what this is. And let's come back to Photopea. Okay, so if you're in Photoshop, you're just going to do File, Place, Embedded like we did last year. But in Photopea, we're just going to do File, and it is Open and Place to put another document in here. And I find my picture. There it is. And here it is here. So I don't need this to be as big as the whole bill. I just want this to be like, I want this to just be a background image. I'm probably going to make it about that big right there. And the main thing I wanted to do with this though is I want to keep the building but get rid of the sky. I'm probably going to keep the mountains, keep the building, but I don't want any of the sky here. So what I need to do is I need to get rid of my background, need to get rid of it safely. So as we know, I need to use my layer mask, or as it calls it in here, a raster mask. And put that in that masking tool. Now I could just go to town and start just using my regular old paintbrush, which is here somewhere. There we go, brush tool. And it's already on black, so I could go ahead and just start like knocking out the sky with the brush tool, no problem. I'm actually going to turn off that background so that I know I'm erasing to a checkerboard. But one of the things that you'll notice here, so I'm just going to quickly come in here and knock out some sky, that something that's going to be really annoying, especially in Photopea, which is slow, so if you're trying to do this stuff at home, which you guys should be doing with this project, a lot of these things are going to be kind of annoying to try to get with just using the brush tool. Like, see, like all these little tiny spires on this building? That's going to be a big pain in the butt to try to get with the brush tool. I'd have to draw around every single one of those. I don't want to do that. So somewhere between the quick selection tool and the magic wand, one of these or a combination of the two of them is going to do what I want it to do. Now here's the problem. I'm on the layer mask. So, in order to use the magic wand, which remember selects similar colored pixels, and the quick selection kind of works similarly, you need to make sure you're on the photo layer when you're making your selection. So let me repeat that. You got to make sure you're on this thing. Notice how the brackets are around the photo and not on my layer mask when I'm using this. Because if I use the magic wand while I'm on the layer mask, it's just going to grab the black and white stuff. It doesn't know that this photo's here. I have to make sure I'm on the photo with the magic wand. Then I can click on like where it's blue here. And notice it started picking some of this stuff up. So I'm going to hold shift, and you're going to ignore my texts going off. And so I'm going to hold shift and just click on some of these colors here, and it's actually doing a pretty good job so far of ignoring those little spires on top of the buildings, all right? So I've gotten all this selected, and now what I want to do is pop back onto my layer mask and get my paintbrush and just paint away here, all right? So this is going to let me go in here and do this. And what I'm probably going to do now is just speed up this video so that you guys don't have to sit here and watch me painstakingly do all of this. All right, here we go. Okay, so we're back to looking at this in fast forward now. Now you'll see me going back and forth a few times with the brush sizes. Remember, use the brackets on your keyboard to do that. The way I'm scooting around the screen really quickly is I'm just holding down the space bar to get that little hand. Then you can just click and drag to move. Another good shortcut to know is sometimes you'll see me doing nice straight lines. You just click once with your brush and then hold shift and click again, and it will make a straight line between your clicks. At some point there I deselected, that's just the same as it was in Photoshop, Control D, and you're seeing me going around all these edges. And I do occasionally bring back that magic wand tool. It's really only good for when you've got those big blocks of all the same color. You'll see that I'm not using it in these really delicate little areas here. Okay, so wrapping up, just kind of cleaning up some of these edges, because I'm about to put a different background on this anyway. Okay, so I have some different images that I've put together in here. You're seeing me resizing them and putting them in the background, just sort of layering things up. We'll get more in depth with what I'm doing here a little bit later. I just kind of wanted you guys to see a sneak preview of where we're going with this project. So you can see that I'm merging some of these images together, but the really important thing here that you're seeing me do is I'm messing with things like the hue saturation and the layer modes, which we messed with last year some, but you're seeing me making it so that all of these kind of blend together, even though that's 4 very different pictures, all right? So here we're looking at, I would not call this a final image. This is more like, this is a good background. This is a good place for me to start to build this project on. So think about what country you want to do for this project and what kinds of images you need to start getting together.